Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Battletech, following the career of the Eldritch Knights, who go through after every major mission have to spend ages in the repair bay. Okay, engineering, the hiring hall. We've already spent way too much money on new gear, but let's go talk to Farah.
Yeah, boss?
Oh, please don't call me boss. Commander Pofaden, what can I do for you? Patching up the Argo must have been an enormous job. How do you do it? Oh, it wasn't just me. I had a team working under me, over 200 of Lyerton's most accomplished engineers, electricians, and shipwrights. It was really pretty amazing, I've got to say. Shouting through a megaphone at a team of hundreds, watching them hang on my every word. I have no idea what accent I'm trying to do here. How much did Eleni pay for all of that? Had you ever managed a team that big before? Never in my wildest dreams. What accent am I doing right now? Prior to my time at the Lyerton shipyard, the biggest team I'd ever managed was the crew I had with me on Axelis, and they all got killed. This job went a lot better than that one did. Oh, by the way, only 3 deaths across the entire project. Before you asked, none of them was my fault. There was an accident with one of the industrial cranes, and, well, it was horrible. I pray for their souls. Can I just comment real quick on her design here? I love it. She is very healthy. This is not overweight. This is a healthy, plus-size woman. Okay. So how much did Lady Arano pay for all that? Oh, it wasn't Lady Arano. The payments came directly from House Centrella. That was a figure of speech. They were indirect payments, of course, routed through countless intermediaries to obscure where the money was coming from. But yeah, the Centrellas paid for it, because the Centrellas are trying to undermine the Directorate, and they don't mind if somebody who's significantly more ethical gets in power. But it's not the ethics they're concerned about. Save for the whole thing about it's better not to have a rabid dog on your doorstep. But anyway, let's continue talking about overhauling the existing social structure that is performing atrocities against its own people. Nothing at all like real life. Now, as to how much the Centrellas paid, I honestly have no idea. I'm sure the figure was astronomical, but still, cheaper than getting dragged into an unwanted war, eh? If this ship turns out to be as important as Lady Arano thinks it will, then it was money well spent. Let's talk about something else. I have some questions for you about this ship. Yes, Commander, of course. Ask me whatever you'd like. What can you tell me about the Argo? Fair amount, Commander. I've been researching the ship for several months. Boeing produced just 2 of these beauties back in 2762. They were intended to follow behind the first wave of exploratory missions, supporting multiple surveyor, terraformer, and colonizer teams on deep survey missions, so it's not originally a military vessel. Interesting. Although she's far too large to land on a planet, her docking collar system allows for smaller dropships like your Leopard to come along for the ride. The Argo is a mobile space station in a sense, providing supply and temporary habitation for teams on dangerous missions in unsettled space. I really love the way dropships and jump ships and all that work in this game. Exploration of vessel or no, this is my character. Exploration, vessel or no. She sounds ideal for our purposes. She is, and with 57,000 tons of cargo space, she has all the room we need for supplies, spare equipment, personnel, you name it. In fact, her hold is so vast we'll have no trouble storing as many mech chassis, partial mech salvage as you can get your hands on. Why don't we see more ships like the Argo out here? The Argo is the product of her era. She lacks the armor or maneuverability to function in battle, and she's vastly outclassed in size and firepower by even the smallest warships. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're a sitting duck. Thank goodness this isn't Aerotech. Oh. She's a peacetime ship meant for peacetime exploration duties, planned with a focus on long-term orbital deployment. It was her non-combat design that ultimately led to her abandonment. Oh my goodness, we're sitting ducks. She might have seen widespread usage, but the fall of the Star League and the near-constant state of war we've endured since then has rendered the Argo little more than a forgotten experimental footnote in the history of dropship production. Sad, really. In her own way, the Argo represents the back seat that science and exploration have taken in pursuit of military goals. Sounds familiar. Okay, let's talk about improvements. From her current state, absolutely. In the Star League days, the ship was state-of-the-art. Now she's a shell of her former glory. With time and sea bills, though, there are plenty of ways I can upgrade her. It's about increasing efficiency, as your executive officer Darius is so fond of saying, time is money. He says that a lot, you know. Okay, let's talk about system and support upgrades. System and support upgrades are fundamental to returning the Argo to her former glory. They're foundational. I can do some basic upgrades to performance in a few areas, but without improvements to system and support, you're limited in how far you can go with upgrades. In addition to the foundational upgrades she requires, I can also upgrade the Argo's drive system to improve her travel speed, with some work, I can bring more of her habitat pods back online so you can hire on more mech warriors and have a place for them to bunk. How about combat and deployment upgrades? Come in three flavors: those that increase our mech bay capacity, which you might want to do; those that improve our mech repair and refits, definitely want to do; those that intensify mech warrior training. Oh my goodness. Increasing mech capacity means more battle mechs ready for immediate deployment. It takes time and sea bills to pull mechs out, chassis out of storage, and refit them with weapons and equipment. Yeah. More mech bay capacity means less downtime. If your lance gets banged up on a mission, and needs weeks of repair time, you won't be able to take another contract unless you have mechs. Improving your repair and refit speed gets your metal mechs out of the mech bay and back on the battlefield, where they can be earning us money. Yeah. Personnel and medical upgrades. Just like battle mechs, your mech warriors will need to be patched up from time to time. Upgrading the Argo's medical facilities means getting your people back to work quicker. There's a display of our medical bay's efficiency and medical points on your travel display. Under the finances and crew morale readouts, the higher the medical rating, the faster your mech warriors will heal. And can I upgrade more than one system at a time? This is going to be a no. No can do. The rule is one upgrade at a time, and I wrote it for a reason. I'm the only one qualified to oversee this work, and if I spread myself too thin, bad things happen. Instinction level things. Well, for us at least. I like her. Let's talk about something else. Okay, that's enough for now. If you're going to be part of this crew, I want a better sense of who you are. Tell me about yourself. Oh, well, I'm an actual doctor, but not the medical kind. I hold 2 doctorates, one in physics, the other one in mechanical engineering. And now I'm hauling around in a lost tech wonder with a crew of merry pirates seeking my fortune. It's funny the places life takes you. Okay, I've got the elevator pitch. Now give me the long version. Have you always wanted to be a shipboard engineer? Yeah, here we go. No, not always. When I was 15, I wanted to be a statistician. English. This is my job. Why can't I say that? Statistician. This is what I do for my day job, is say words. You know, a nice and quiet life alone in the ivory tower. That was what my personal dropship was going to be called. Oh my goodness, you were going to name a ship the Ivory Tower. Oh, preparing mathematical models and studying survey results. So yeah, you know, every girl's dream. Why didn't you follow through? That's amazing. Well, interests change, I mean. I still like statistics, but it's really more of a hobby now. Is that weird? People have told me it's weird. I don't know. Plotting graphs and forecasting future events calms me. It's like my own little way of using math to bring order from chaos. And besides, everybody needs a hobby. I know for a fact Darius crochets. That's adorable. You are adorable. I love you. Okay. Didn't you want to do... what made you get into engineering? Uncle Heiner's Experiment World, live-action STEM edutainment program from the Lyran Commonwealth, started airing just after my 19th birthday. You may have seen it. It ran for 3 seasons before it was canceled. The host was a tattooed, chain-smoking nihilist who taught children the magic of chemistry. You know, making thermite with aluminum cans and a belt sander, that kind of thing. What kind of... What? Okay. You liked that guy? I married him. Long story. But the important bit is, in the 6 months before the annulment, I learned that I had a real talent with machines. When Heiner blew out a power relay or took a tire iron to the bandsaw, I was the one who would put it back together again. I found a great deal of peace in that. Oh. From there, it was just a matter of getting into the right schools and following my bliss. So that's what I did, and well, here I am. Turned out all right for me, all things considered. Now that you're on a ship that's got a massive target on its back. Okay, give me the long version. Sure, if you like. Let's see where to begin. I was born Regulus in the Free Worlds League. My parents were academics. I know, big surprise. I spent most of my early years bouncing back and forth between their suburban apartment and the Ferdowsi. My Baba June's live-in dropship. Baba June? Who was that? My grandfather. He'd carved out a nice little business for himself running a taxi service for pilgrims traveling to and from Dar es Salaam. As much as my father frowned on Baba June's old-fashioned lifestyle and beliefs, he wasn't blind to how much I loved the old man, so he occasionally considered to let me board the Ferdowsi and go along for the ride. I always cherished my memories of those voyages, the warmth behind Baba June's smile, the excitement of leaving Regulus behind, chatting with the pilgrims and getting lost in the stars and eating pre-packaged Finsinjan out of shiny tin. Those times are all crystal clear in my memory as if they happened yesterday. How I miss that wonderful man. This may seem silly coming from Mercenary Engineer, but I've come to think of the life I've chosen as a way of honoring my Baba June. By carving my own path among the stars, I'm doing what I can to keep his memory alive. That sounds trite, I'm sure, but sue me. It's what I've chosen to believe. And I'm basically just reading in my own voice, because this point I've given up doing accents a lot. All my accents just sort of go vaguely American impression of English, sort of. Well, I might try to do some accents here, some voices here and there, but mostly I just tend to drift into the same one. What about after you left home? Where did you study? I actually spent a little time in the Lyran Commonwealth before I pursued my studies. Long story that, but suffice it to say, it was its own kind of learning experience. When I did decide to get a higher education, I wound up back in the Free Worlds League. I did my underground studies in the University of Atreus, then went on to CN University in the Capellan Confederation during my doctorates. For a top 3 school with a Maskarovka screened admissions process, Xian Yu was surprisingly open to transfer students. Anyway, I could go on and on for hours about my academic career, and you'd probably smile and nod as I rambled, but come on, I mean, this can't be interesting for you, can it? You're a mercenary, you stomp around in a giant robot for a living. The closest I got to adventure back then was my dissertation defense. Let me ask you about something else. That's enough family history. Okay, can we discuss something work-related? And talk to you later, Doc. I could still ask, didn't you ever want to do something? Could do this. We have recreation. Can we... allows 6 more to be powered up, made available. This also brings... Can we No. Got a lot of extra space here. Can we... This is already installed. Structure. Thrust from the main drive shaft. This is... Oh! We could get a power system. What about the training module? Oh, that's really good. That is really good. Plus 2 tech points. How much? Yeah.
Sure thing. It'll take a bit, but we'll get it done.
Okay. So that's in progress. It'll take 20 days. And that's all we can do right now. Because it's one at a time. Let's go talk to Alexander.
Yes.
Commander Pope Faden, welcome to my corner of the command center. From here, I can provide Mr. Oliveira with advice and information whenever he needs it. I want to be a resource for you as well. In keeping with my role as a restoration liaison, I will give you additional information I can about our campaign moving forward. Come see me with any major operation and I'll share whatever I can. So tell me about yourself. I should already know a lot of this. I'd be happy to, but honestly, Commander, I've been so confused with matters of war of late that I wouldn't even know where to begin. Tell me about who you were before Camilla's exile in the Restoration. Noble scion, much the same as you were, from what I understand. As a fellow noble, I'm sure you already know more than most about my upbringing. It was your life of great privilege and even greater expectation. I like this outfit. I spent my early years invested in academic pursuits and the study of history, mathematics, and statecraft. I strove to excel at every subject. Anything to avoid disappointing my mother and father. The extent to which they would come to disappoint me is a cruel irony, but it's one that I've come to accept. What kind of expectations did you have to meet? Do you know House Madeira's motto, Behold Our Splendor? I had a family obligation to live extravagantly, and to do so within the public eye. But I was also expected to develop my intellect. My life was a 50-50 split between carousing and academic study. In truth, I felt that I was leading two lives, putting on a show in both, but I'll never complain about my upbringing. I have enjoyed advantages that most children of the periphery could only dream of. Must be hard to have your own parents betray you. Oh, it is. Nothing could be harder. When Camilla retakes her throne, there will be a reckoning, and Directorate collaborators will be tried for their crimes. My mother and father will be at the front of that list. And as terrible as it feels to say it, they'll deserve whatever punishment they receive. I'm sorry to hear it, Lord Madeira. Let's talk about something else. Your apologies are unnecessary. By any metric you care to mention, I've lived a charmed life. The hardships of the past 3 years don't erase the lifetime privilege I enjoyed before Espinosa's crew. It would be dishonest of me to pretend that they did. But still, I am happy to change the subject if you wish. Tell me about Goldra. What kind of world is it? A truly beautiful one. You should really travel there sometime after all this is over and see it for yourself, assuming we don't go there during the campaign and turn it into a mud pit, as mech warriors tend to do. Imagine lush green lowlands giving way to mile upon mile of white sand coastline. Sandy beaches kissed by warm salty seas, and soft rain perfumed with saffron and cardamom, and that's not to mention the wildlife. Close your eyes and imagine Commander's shield turns, wheeling and soaring, their beautiful plumage glittering in the sunlight, leviathan sablefish flashing silver beneath the waves, dolphinfish leaping, breaching the surface of the water in riotous streaks of yellow and green. Dolphinfish? Places like Goldra are special, Commander Pope Faden. They must be preserved. That is what we're fighting for, something unspoiled and unique, and ours. Something that reminds us how good the periphery can be. Let's talk about something else. Of course, Commander Pope Faden, what do you need? I'd like to discuss the state of our war against the Directorate. Things are going well enough, Commander. Our initial attack on Weldry was an enormous success, despite the psychological cost of what we discovered there. Still, the Directorate's atrocities have steeled our resolve. I've never seen Lady Arano so determined. Of curiosity, Commander Pope Faden, what did you think of her speech? I recorded it, you know. The broadcasts are on their way to every corner of the Directorate's space. It sounded raw, from the heart. Mastiff would have been proud. I don't want to say this one. That is obviously what you do. That is the responsible thing to do, to be honest. Turning into a PR stunt. Good, that's what I was hoping to hear. The presumption of authenticity will carry us far. For what it's worth, Lady Arano meant every word she said, but the people may not see it that way. Espinosa's propaganda machine will do everything in its power to tarnish our accomplishments and drag us through the dirt. I can imagine the headlines now. Police and civil servants cut down by weapons of war. Dangerous convicts set loose by a traitor, endangering nobles and commoners alike. Dangerous narrative, and one that we will have to counter at every turn, which is why you turned that speech into a PR thing. Yeah. With luck, many of our people will believe what they've heard in our broadcasts over the Directorate's propaganda, but I fear that Espinosa's hardline supporters will be far less eager to listen. Yeah, they'll want somebody to pay for that wall. If we fail to turn them against the Directorate, we run the risk of ongoing violence, even after we liberate their home systems. That's why messages like Kamiya's speech are so important. Just saw the conditions of Weldry with your own eyes. You don't think that'll be enough to... They're going to say it's propaganda. We need some of our own. Got it. Sadly, yes, if we're going to win this war, we need to rally the Aurigian people, including a percentage of Espinosa's supporters. They have to see that we are better than the Directorate again and again until our message is impossible to ignore. For you, that means military victories. For me, it means more broadcast spin and outreach. Public opinion is just another battlefield, and I'll be knee-deep in the trenches until the day I die. I should go. We'll talk later.
Until next time.
Oh, you have a much younger voice. Do you have anything new, Darius?
I have answers.
You said you knew Nastiff, that you fought by... sorry about what happened, Weldry, with Sir Raju and all. I'd have invaded Directorate myself to get him back, but now it's too late. I did have that privilege, yes. I didn't know him as well as you did, of course, but we were together in the trenches of Falgert campaign, and I raised a glass with Sir Raju in the canteen on more than one occasion. What did you think of the old man? What jumps into your mind? Family. The old man was so damn proud of his family and heritage, there wasn't a drop of noble privilege in his veins, but the Montgomery name carried weight, hard as nails since the dawn of time, his father used to tell him. Those were his family words and personal creed, and I can personally attest to their accuracy. When we were fighting alongside the Royal Guard on the Falger campaign, a pirate-driven hunchback managed to flank us. Decker was piloting a Locust at the time, and the bastard took its left leg clean off. The Locust went down hard, and Decker blacked out. Deja vu. He was a dead man. There was nothing we could do to keep that hunchback from putting a foot through the cockpit, and it would have if Mastiff hadn't come charging in with his Centurion. His first punch took the hunchback's main gun clean off, and he was totally matter-of-fact about it. It wasn't a desperate swing or a panic move. He just calmly put his fist into the pirate mech's weapon pod, grabbed it, and wrenched it free from its moorings. It was like, I don't know, like watching a farmer uproot a tree stump, workman-like. And all the while, we could hear the pirate over an open channel screaming and cursing as he desperately tried to fight back. The old man took that hunchback apart piece by piece. Imagine a veteran prize fighter locked in a cage with a snot-nosed kid with no rules or referees in sight. He put on a clinic for everyone to see. The rest of the pirates broke rank and fled when they saw what happened to their friend. Can't say I blame them. In their place, I'd have done the same. That's what the Montgomerys were. Warriors for as long as anyone could remember. Born to fight and tempered on the battlefield. And Sir Raju was the last. He never had any children, The Montgomery line died with him. Did he ever show you that enormous knife he used to carry? The kukri? Yeah, don't see too many of those outside the Free Worlds League. These days, kukri blades are mostly associated with the 4th Regulan Hussars. Not Mastiffs, though. He claimed that he'd inherited that curved blade beauty from his grandfather, who'd inherited from his grandfather, and so on and on, all the way back to the family's origins on Terra. During the Falger campaign, I saw him use that blade against a pirate twice his size, split the bastard's skull like a rotten cantaloupe. It was horrifying and beautiful at once. You don't see that kind of skill every day. Wonder what happened to that old blade of his. It wasn't with him on Weldry. The old man must have felt like he'd lost a piece of himself when the Directorate took it away. Next time we're on shore leave, let's raise a glass to the old man's memory. Yeah, Percali, I'd like that. So I think would he. Do we have a chance to catch up? Nothing new here. Okay.
I'll
And
see you.
time for new videos. See you in a moment.